Hi guys, and welcome to our usual golf news World T20 World Cup, and we're going to go straight over to Anis. We've had a tremendous day today, and we've actually worked out who is going to be going, we think, to the semi-finals. Let's see what's happening.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, Mr. Gautam, and hello to all the beautiful people of Gulf News. Well, two important games. First was between Australia and West Indies. Australia had to win the match. They not only won, but they won with a good run rate and ensured that their run rate got better. And the second match, the unlucky South Africans against England, they put up a decent total, but not good enough to make sure that they go ahead of Australia. They won the game. Rabada got a hat-trick, but as usual, I'm afraid South Africa's rub up the green against luck goes against them. And they are knocked out of the ICC World Cup once again.
So, I mean, Gautam, hi. I just want to say that, like the absolute valiant effort by South Africa today, but they're going home empty-handed once again.
Yes, I mean, South Africa has this history of, falling short in the World Cup. I mean, this was another case in point. They came looking a bit undercooked, but see, all the top three have won 4 out of 5, and still they're going home. So what do you say? But the interesting part is with the performance of, Ras van der Dussen. He's 94 of 60 deliveries, and Duane Pretorius. There seemed to be a nucleus of a team which can, even without the big names, you can hope for something from this team from, the upcoming big tournaments.
The next generation.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And Anis, if I can check with you, I mean, there was one whirlwind over. They got like 666, I think. They just smashed something, and it really put England on the back wheel. Does that mean, do you think that there is a way to take out England if we want to call them their favourites?
England definitely are favourites, but today the injury to Jason Roy has dented that, to be very honest. They first lost one of their premium fast bowlers, and now Jason Roy, who's known for giving them good start, and he was literally in tears. I was in the stadium and I could see the expression on his face. In fact, in the break, I just waved to him because he plays for my team. And there was a smile, and suddenly within a half an hour, how fortune can change. I believe it's a very bad injury. They haven't mentioned the injury, whether it's a hamstring injury, but he had to come on crutches. Yeah. So he seems to be out. I believe Sam Billings might come in, but this is going to really dent England's chances because Johnny Bairstow doesn't look in his own. He's out for 0-1 in his last 2 games. They depend now a lot on David Malan and especially Joss Butler because Owen Morgan is out of form. So the batting, to be very honest, to me looks thin on paper. The bowling is good. It's well sorted out. But the batting looks thin on paper. So I wouldn't call England now the favourites anymore.
So who do you think are the favourites?
If India qualify, it will be definitely India. Otherwise, I'll give it to Pakistan.
Okay. Now, if we talk about, we're looking at the other teams and we looked at my tip, Australia.
Yeah, I forgot about Australia. I'm sorry.
They look very solid today.
Yes, to be very honest, I was a little emotional about Team India. India is not even through. If you have to ask me, now if I have to pick one favourite, I'll pick Australia.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Gautam, everyone else is watching. You've got to mark that down because I was the only person that predicted Australia. Okay. Gautam, now if we look ahead, realistically, if we're looking at the 4 teams that are going to make to the semis, where do we go? Do we think it's going to be an England-Pakistan final?
Once again, these are T20 games. I mean, the margin of error is so little. I mean, we thought that England was simply infallible. But yes, I mean, as they were on the cusp of chasing 190, Jason Roy's, it looked like a hamstring injury to me, Anis. I mean, the way he hobbled in starting for the single. But anyway, I mean, what is the cutoff given? I think anywhere between 4 weeks. I mean, which means his
He's
Ashes
done,
is
he's
also
done for this tournament. Yeah.
he's done. Yes, right.
Yep.
So that's really unfortunate. I mean, it's part of sport. Yes, I mean the thing is, it all depends on whom they are taking on as the second team from Group 2. A lot depends on that. If we, before we come into any conclusion for the matchup on the
It's not
14th.
Scotland. We'll put it that way. Guarantee you, it's not Scotland.
Yeah, not Scotland. Yeah, but Scotland have shown the spunk. The other day, their total was more than Bangladesh. The match I had gone for. Yeah.
But and then, like, if you look at some of the scores that we've now seen, I mean, I'm not talking about Sharjah or Abu Dhabi or Dubai here, but England lost scoring 179, and then other teams have won scoring like 130. Is it all down to the grounds, or is it all down to how the team plays on the day? Anas?
Obviously, Matt, it has to be on how the team plays on the day. And today, to be very honest, the motivation was more for South Africa than for England. Of course, they couldn't make it to the last four because they had very little cushion, because the way Australia won their match against West Indies with 4 overs to spare. So that small things have made a difference. You have to give credit to Australia that they not only won the second last game against, I think it was Bangladesh, if I'm not wrong, very easily. And then today,
West
again,
Indies.
they hammered West Indies in 16 overs. So these small things made the job tougher for South Africa. They must have won the game, as I said. But in hindsight, at the back of their mind, I know they came without any expectations, a young team, no big names. If you have to ask me, the only big name, if I can talk about, was Quinton de Kock, and he was the most disappointing player of the tournament for South Africa.
And now we'll come back to you, Gautam, for the South Africa team. Do you think that they've failed to live up to anything in their reputation, or as Anna said, it looks like it's a team that's preparing for the next time?
No, just on the contrary. I mean, nobody was expecting anything out of them. I mean, when they used to come in with the A.B. de Villiers and the Grant Smiths and the Dale Steyn's, that was the time when you expected things out of them and the team would choke. But here, even the game that they lost, it was by a very thin margin, and that was the opening game against Australia. In fact, Australia were lucky to scrape through. So and in Rassie, I do not know. Maybe Anis will be able to say better if he leads any of their state teams or anything. I mean, this guy almost looks like a future captaincy material to me. The way he carries himself, the maturity that he has, that on how to pace his innings in this kind of on this kind of tracks. And today those two scoops were simply audacious. So more to gain out of this. Kagiso Rabada's hat-trick, I mean, see, we know he's a class act. In fact, because of the wicket, he had gone for quite a few runs before that. So he was laughing at the end that the hat-trick came. Yeah. So interesting, I mean, because these guys were playing in the IPL. So they made use of the preparation. They were going a little under the radar, which worked for them. So South Africa and, to some extent, Sri Lanka also, I think we need to watch out for these two teams for the future.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Anis, I'll just come back to you very quickly just before we wrap up. I mean, where do we see this going in the future? If you think of, obviously, we know who we think are going to be in the final, right? And that'll be England and Pakistan. But if where do we go with Australia? Where do we go with Sri Lanka? Where do we go with South Africa? Where do we go with Australia?
Like Gautam mentioned, the two teams who probably the justice has not been done has been Sri Lanka and South Africa. South Africa, in spite of winning 4 games, they could not make it to the knockout, but they have played much more than their expectation. This is a bunch of youngsters, and so with Sri Lanka. If you talk about the Hasrangas and the Nisankas, and there's a spinner in, I can't remember his name, who bowls like Varun Chakravarti. They are a brilliant team. And our only thing is that both these teams, South Africa and Sri Lanka, they need a good backing from their board, because unfortunately their board doesn't seem to They have crumbled a bit in the past, and I simply hope somebody puts his hand up and backs his youngsters, because if you want the teams to do well, you need to give them good motivation. And apart from motivation, you need to financially do well, because if you see teams like India, England, they have been taken care financially, and finally it all boils down to finance. And if you don't take care of the finances, you don't expect the teams to come and turn up.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, I mean, that's why I always say about football as well. That's why, you know, like Spain and England always do well in terms of football, because they've got the financial backing, and it's the same with England and India when it comes to cricket. Now, we have to talk quickly, Gautam, about two guys who may have played their last game. We have to talk about Mr. Universe himself, Chris Gayle, and we have to talk about Dwayne Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
So what's their impact been to the T20 game?
It's very, very, very emotional. I mean, these two performers, they had been around for so long, and you know, despite being such franchisee giants, they were somehow, you know, they have had their run-ins with the board. I remember Dwayne Bravo at one point of time, he was the, you know, the white ball captain. He had a major showdown, and he possibly went back. They were on a tour of India and then went back. But finally, somewhere down the line, it could be their, you know, the sense of pride of wearing that maroon shirt, which brought them back over and over again. But this time looks like this is it. Bravo has already said that he's going off. Gayle also, it's a matter of time. Again, he may say that, you know, I'll play these odd T20s or whatever. Maybe there is a question of, you know, if they completely sign off from international cricket, does it hurt their, you know, the paycheck in franchisee cricket? I'm not too sure about that. But like Bravo has said that I'm going to play franchisee cricket for some more time. And he's about 37, 38, so he may play another 1 or 2 years. Gayle, totally his call, but these two have been absolute giants of, you know, West Indies, not only white ball cricket. I mean, Gayle is a guy who was possibly the last guy to score a triple century for West Indies in tests after Lara. So
and also hit the 6 sixes.
Yes.
Now, Anas, just very quickly, just before we sign off, what do you think it means to T20? And obviously, West Indies, as they are the defending champions, what happens from here for the West Indies team?
Well, let's first talk about these two players, you know, who have served their nations quite well. Okay, they were known more for franchise cricket, but they are part of two World Cup winning teams where they won in 2016 and 2012. So they were part of that squad, and both of them have done wonders, whether it is for Team West Indies or for their respective franchise. So it's going to be a big loss for West Indies, and to find players of the stature of Gayle and Bravo is not going to be easy. It's not easy shoes to fill in. So West Indies really will have to work hard to find. There is talent. Is again, as I mentioned about South Africa and Sri Lanka, the board has to function well to ensure that they find such players of such high caliber.
Okay, so we're going to have to basically, they're going to have to go back to grassroots. Is that what we're saying? In terms of you find these new players and then build them up.
Yes.
In terms of that. Okay. All right, guys, thank you very much. I think we've gone over time, so I'm going to have to say thank you very much to Anas and to Gautam, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow, and you can catch up with everything and all the latest news all on golfnews.com, and we shall see you all tomorrow.